and let us all do we can to build a better future.
AOC is now a regular Democrat, folks. AOC is a regular Democrat. So here, I want to pull up this tweet. Shout out to Nick of RBN for tweeting out this lovely piece of information. All the people who used to get mad at me for bashing AOC are now forced to admit what we've been saying for years. Sad thing is, these Democratic socialist types will never apologize for attacking us for telling the truth about AOC before it was cool. The left. AOC is just a regular old Democrat now. Hey, look. Regular old Democrat. And unfortunately for a lot of us, when it comes down to dealing with AOC, she has really made herself, well, close to the Democratic establishment. AOC, in many ways, is one of the people that's been acknowledged as someone to hold back the movement in many ways. She's been the one that's been able to systematically say, oh, we got to wait. We got to keep our powder dry. We can't really challenge the system. We can't fight back. We can't push back. We can't do anything. These are the things that AOC has been preaching. And it's rather sad to see it get down to this now. Here, I just want to pull up this video here as well, or not a video, but this other tweet as well, where we have, again, Glenn Greenwald. AOC is just a regular old Democrat. As hilarious as it is obviously true, the extra pathetic for vanishing a few people on the left who cling to her parasocial affection for her in order to deny all of this. Of course, the New York Magazine, how the most promising leftist of her generation lost her political identity. Say it ain't so, AOC. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. But I guess that this is the case. It's the world that we're in because AOC wants to hide. She wants to tell all of you that she is a caring Democrat that's very pragmatic. But here, let's go back in time. Let's go back in time. Shout out to Nico House, good friend of the show. Never forget who told y'all about AOC first, people. Roundtable. AOC is not your friend. What do we mean by this? Well, this is from Nico House way back in the day. Opinion. Since 2016, quite a few progressives have been able to use Bernie Sanders' retired campaign to catapult themselves into political stardom. Again, this article is from 2016, January 28th, by good friend of the show, Nico House. For those who were brave enough to pioneer what eventually turned out to be a massive movement that forever changed the direction of political discourse on issues like foreign policy, single-payer healthcare, and campaign finance, there was a hefty price to pay. Former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner, for example, was unable to return to Ohio politics after refusing to back down to the Democratic establishment after she unexpectedly switched her endorsement from Hillary Clinton to Bernie Sanders. Again, this guy here didn't have the backbone to fight for Tulsi. Hell, didn't even have the real backbone to fight for Nina. What? I'm just telling the truth. This is just how it is. Because she felt like getting Senator Sanders elected was more important than whatever security or political capital she could garner by regaining her Senate seat or many of the other positions she's suited for. For that sacrifice, the DNC rewarded her by disallowing her to nominate the man she spent that prior year campaigning for at the Democratic National Convention, while constantly berating her with racist and sexist smear attempts. We can look at Representative Tulsi Gabbard, now former representative, who, when asked about having any fear of retaliatory political assault at the hands of then presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, she responded, "The Clintons don't scare me." Representative Gabbard gave up her seat as vice chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee after she saw the way the DNC was treating Senator Sanders. She constantly called out the rigged debate schedule and decided to endorse Sanders over Clinton, which, again, Bernie would never stand side by side with Tulsi. This decision came at a hefty price. Not only did Gabbard give up what would have likely been an easy road to the White House, but the founders of CAA and UTA talent agencies also vowed to use every ounce of their Hollywood and political network to question the Hawaiian Congresswoman's career. And I'm going to be talking about Hollywood later on this show because I want to see that whole place burned to the ground. It's just how I feel. It's my opinion, and I have my reasons. Indeed, they did their best to allow Let me start again. Indeed, they did their best to follow through on that promise, as we saw through the treatment of Congresswoman Gabbard throughout her entire 2020 presidential run. Before Gabbard stood up to Clinton, she was often referred to as the future anointed queen of the Democratic Party. Brianna Joy Gray, former national press secretary of the Bernie 2020 campaign and former senior editor for politics at The Intercept, is another great example. Not only did Brianna have the audacity to support Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton in the 2016 primary election, black women were not allowed to support anyone but Clinton, if you didn't know, but she also became a surrogate for Jill Stein's 2016 campaign in the general election. Good, because again, vote blue no matter who. I am so happy you're still triggered by 2016. You haven't moved on. 2016 lives rent-free in your head. I still laugh at some of the videos where you see people melting down and crying when Hill Dog lost. So there we go. Now, all in all of these women managed to stay afloat and continue to make a name for themselves despite the constant backlash they received and continue to receive from making one life-changing decision to back Bernie Sanders, who again is a cuck, when no one else with any real political clout would do so. If these weren't some of the most brilliant women in politics, they would have likely been crushed by the barrage of establishment attacks thrown their way. When people have to sacrifice something you cherish in order to fight for a cause they believe in, they become invested in protecting that cause. They will fight the toughest battles to defend the sanctity of that cause. Otherwise, why put yourself in a position to lose everything to support a cause you half-heartedly believe in with no intention of seeing it through until the end? So, I know what you're thinking. Why did Nico House dedicate 3 paragraphs to explain the sacrifice of these 3 women in a piece that's supposed to be about AOC? I assure you, there's a valid reason. The reason I outlined the political retaliation experienced by those who made the bold decision in 2016, know it could tank their careers, is because I needed to make a necessary contrast between that group and another group of the Bernie-crats. Remember them, folks? There was another group of people whose political stardom was largely contingent on their connection to the Sanders movement. These people were nowhere to be found in 2016. Very good thing. Very good thing to bring up. These people made none of the sacrifices the women above were bold enough to make when the country needed them the most, but they reaped all the political and financial benefits that subsequently followed for Bernie-crats who were willing to ride the coattails of who eventually became the most popular politician in the country. Debatable now. And although I could rattle off a list of names that fit the description, no one fits this description more than progressive firebrand Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, better known to the hard-lens media audiences, AOC. When she defeated former Rep. Joe Crowley, the progressive movement rejoiced. If a bartender for the Bronx could beat a man who was the next in line to be Speaker of the House, then maybe, just a maybe, we really did stand a chance to take the White House in 2020 with progressive policies and hard work. AOC presented herself as loud, unapologetically progressive, and even went as far as calling herself that naughty word feared by U.S. Democrats and Republicans alike: Democratic Socialists. Bum, bum, bum. Today, her name is already being tossed around as the Democratic primary frontrunner in 2024. Then she will be old enough to run for president. Yes, AOC is everything progressive leftists would want in a politician, or so many people think. Analyzing a politician's true intentions can be tricky, but generally you have to figure out if a politician is an ally who makes mistakes or a bad actor who sometimes does good things to be showered with the praise that comes with appearance of looking like she or he is on the side of the people by analyzing their patterns of behavior and context of those patterns. Who is AOC loyal to? Why, let's be very clear here. I think she's loyal to herself. Again, Nico put a lot of detail into this, but long story short, because Nico does a lot of detail into this, she's loyal to herself and her political career. Okay. A lot of these politicians in Washington, D.C., they're thinking 2 years down the road, 4 years down the road, 8 years down the road, 12 years down the road for their political career. If you think these politicians are loyal to you, a type 1, if you think, yes, Kit, they care about me. I'm working 3 jobs. I've got health issues. I'm living in my car, but my representative and U.S. Senator loves me. A type 2, no, they only care about themselves. And dude, it's cost $300 to go outside, man. It costs $300 just to go outside. Watch, I promise you, okay? If things continue as they are, they're going to charge people to go outside. I kid you not. They're going to have like a little machine they're going to have in front of your door. or your car door or in front of your tent underneath a bridge and be like, it costs $300 to go outside. Please deposit your credits. Watch. If they could do that, they will. You think I'm joking? I'm not. There's one sociopath in Washington, D.C., maybe a couple, that think that, hey, that's a good idea. I think most people would classify a good progressive as someone who allies themselves with the policies that help people the most. They would also agree that person should be willing to stand by and fight for the people who push these policies as well. Well, it might break your heart to hear this, but AOC does not fit that description. Let's take a quick look back at the woman discussed above and AOC's relationship or lack thereof with them. AOC has been known to be very, very vocal when it comes to defending herself against Republican attacks. Remember, all these politicians were coming after her. Continuing on, as I stated above, Breonna Gray, Nina Turner, Tulsi Gabbard, they were victims of some of the most vitriolic and disgusting attacks a black woman, sorry, I read that wrong, just Breonna Gray and Nina Turner, or anybody for that matter, could experience, given that AOC is known to use her status as a woman of color as a defense against these type of attacks for herself. One would assume that she would just be as eager to defend these progressive black female Berniecrats, of whom was also a part of the very same presidential campaign she belonged to in 2020. Rep. AOC obviously knows how it feels to be attacked, not based on the substance of one's argument, but on the gender and race of a person born. To this day, there is no tweet or interview where AOC challenges the liberal media's treatment of Bernie Sanders' former national press secretary, nor his former national co-chair. Even Dr. Jason Johnson made abhorrent comments referring to Breonna Gray and Ms. Turner as misfit black girls. AOC, who is known to roar like a proud lioness, more like a bobcat. Call her a bobcat next time, Nico. Just giving you some cliff notes here. Call her a bobcat. When defending herself, was as quiet as a mouse when it was time to defend her fellow progressives and campaign colleagues. Enter Tulsi Gabbard. Representative Gabbard was and is a progressive powerhouse whose presidential run was widely anticipated by current and former Sanders supporters alike. Her 2016 sacrifice, combined with policies such as Off Fossil Fuel Acts, Securing America's Elections Act, Fairness in Media Act, No More Presidential Wars Act, Stop Financing Arming Terrorism Acts, Universal Basic Income, and more garnered her a cult following, ironic pun intended. Couple all of that was her stance on whistleblower protections and civil liberties, her love of mixed martial arts, and so much more, and her no BS approach of politics. Tulsi was indeed a force to be reckoned with. Now, here's the thing. AOC found Representative Gabbard to be an inspirational figure in the progressive movement. AOC campaigned on getting some of Tulsi's legislation passed, even responded. Tulsi's congratulatory tweet was, "Let's change the world together." Unfortunately, the Democratic primary made Gabbard another progressive woman of color, the target of blatant sexism, racism, xenophobia, and religious bigotry. And once again, AOC was silent. See, look at this right here. That was in 2018, and here's AOC. Thank you, Tulsi Gabbard. It's certainly a whirlwind. Let's change the world together. That's before we all saw AOC's daggers come out. So, again, maybe AOC didn't have a personal connection with the women above. That is sometimes needed to find bravery to stand up for someone fighting for the same ideals as you. Maybe if a progressive colleague that she also considered a friend was being attacked by established Democrats, like the women above, then she'd muster up the courage to come out swinging for them as unapologetic as she comes out swinging for herself. So we're going to stop here. You could read the full article here, and I'm going to post this link in the live stream chat so all of you can see it and share it with yourselves, so that way you know what's going on. But what can we take away from this about AOC? Who she represents, what she's all about. She lied to you. She lied to you on who she was. She lied to you about standing in solidarity. The mask is off. Now, she didn't go to bat for Tulsi, Nina Turner, Breonna Gray, etc. But she was real quick to challenge anyone that called her out during Forced to Vote. She was real quick to dismiss the March for Medicare for All, or the 3-day General Strike Summit meeting, or the fight for the $15 minimum wage, all of which took place in 2021. AOC ignored you. AOC dismissed you. And now she's a regular old Democrat. 5 years of AOC. Nothing different.